If you could start by telling us your name and how old you are.
Stephen Mason, I'm 53.
And a little bit about life growing up.
Well, life growing up, I grew up with an abusive father. He was abusive to my mum, he was abusive to us. Never there for her. Alcoholic he was. And I didn't have a very good child life.
No.
No. And that's why I've ended up the way I am today.
So did you used to witness him being abusive?
Yeah, I used to witness him all the time, yeah. All the time. He didn't care who was there, where it was, anything. He used to let his hands go.
And was that only because you mentioned just that he was an alcoholic?
Yeah,
Was that when he was drunk or all the time?
Mainly when he was drunk, but mainly all the time.
How do you think that affected you?
It's affected me a great deal in my life. I've got a transient lifestyle now. I can never settle in one place too long or anything.
Yeah.
And I've divorced from my wife and kids through drinking drugs.
So you ended up turning to drinking drugs
Drinking
yourself?
drugs, yes.
You think that was because you saw your dad?
Yeah, because I saw my dad. Yeah, that's it's been a big fact towards my life nowadays.
What about school and stuff?
School, I got kicked out at 14 for not going. I refused to go to school even though I was bright. I had a good education up until the age of 14, but I just turned me back on it. Yeah.
What made you turn your back?
I started getting into drugs and drink.
At 14?
14, yeah. Alcoholic by the age of 15.
Wow. Who introduced you to drugs first?
Me brother.
Older brother?
Older brother, yeah. He died in a police station though.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a heart defect that nobody knew about.
So what drugs did he introduce you to?
He introduced us at the time to sulfate, speed and weed, marijuana.
At 14?
14,
so at 14
yeah.
you started taking?
Yeah, started taking them.
And that's when you ended up dropping out of school?
Yeah, dropping out, yeah.
Would you say that the drink and the drugs became more important?
Yeah, definitely.
Than school?
Yes.
What happened after you got kicked out of school?
I just always in trouble with the police. Just a troubled lifestyle I've had. Troubled lifestyle since the age of 14.
And so you obviously had sort of a lot of contact with the police?
Yes.
At any point did they offer you any help or anything?
Yeah, they offered us help, yeah. They used to send us on to courses and everything, but I could never get my head round it.
No.
No, trouble seems to have followed us all my life.
Does it?
Yeah.
Gosh. So they offered you help with getting onto courses
for
skills?
bettering your life skills and things.
Okay, so yeah. And I guess, do you feel like you never succeeded in them, as in because your head wasn't there yet?
My head wasn't there, yeah. But I was very bright. I still am very bright. It's just I chose to turn me back on it. Because of what I had seen growing up, it just affected us.
I can imagine. And I guess you were seeing that from a young
age, yeah, very young age, yeah. From the age I can remember, 4 or 5 year old, I remember it. My mum crying with black eyes, bossed lips, us having to beat each other up and things like that. I grew up with it.
Your dad used to make you beat your
Me and my brother fight each other. No. My brother was 5 years older than us and used to make us fight each other and everything and laugh about it.
And just sit there and watch?
Yeah, sit there and watch, yeah.
And I guess your mum probably had no say in
No, she didn't. She couldn't say anything, no.
No. So when you got kicked out of school, your mum and dad sort of still together at that point?
No, they're separated.
And was life any better?
Yeah, it was better, yeah. For my mum it was better, but she was sick of me bringing the police to the door.
And by that point you'd already been witness to
everything, yeah.
It's too late. Do you have any relationship with your father, or did you have to?
No, he died. I was glad when he died. I was over the moon. It was the best thing that could happen to him. He was horrible. He was just a horrible bloke.
Was he?
He died about 8 years ago. I'm 53, so 8 or 53.
Wow. Do you still have a relationship with your mum?
Yeah, I still speak to my mum on the phone, yeah. I love my mum to bits.
God.
Yeah.
And what about your siblings?
Don't talk to them.
No.
I've got a sister, but my brother died in the police station.
Yeah.
He died when he was 23.
So you were still quite young, because you said he was 5 years old.
He's 5 years old on us, yeah.
Yeah, so you'd seen, by the time you were 18, you'd suffered a lot.
Suffered a lot, yeah, definitely.
Already. How long have you been homeless for?
I've been homeless on and off for the past 2 years. But I'm at the Crypt at the minute, so that's not too bad.
And is that like a shelter where you
Shelter,
can stay?
yeah.
So where were you living, or what sort of living situation was it before?
On the streets and in prison. Constantly in prison.
And did prison offer you any?
Well, they're supposed to, but with the coronas and everything, lately they haven't been able to help anybody. They've just been releasing you with nowhere to go, no money or anything.
And that then doesn't leave you many options,
No,
does it?
it doesn't, no. Crime, I'm a shoplifter. I commit crime, shoplift all the time.
You've got to get by.
Got to survive,
Yeah. And do you still suffer with any addiction?
I'm PTSD, me. I've got post-traumatic stress and everything because of what I witnesses from being a kid.
Have you ever sought any help in dealing with that, like counselling or anything?
I'm too embarrassed about ask help for help. I'd rather just deal with it my own.
Do you suffer with any addiction?
Yeah,
now?
I'm addicted to crack cocaine.
How did you get introduced to that, or how did you start?
I've been battling with it for about 3 years. I didn't start until I was older in life, about 50.
And did you know anything about it before you started?
Yeah, I knew about it, but I'd always kept away from it.
What made you?
Because I've had jobs. I used to be self-employed on the railways and everything.
Railways is a good
I used
job.
to be in charge of safety and everything.
Yeah.
Of the other men, yeah. But like drink and drugs always took us back.
Did you enjoy working?
Yeah, I loved it.
You mentioned before, like you had a wife and kids.
Yeah, wife and kids, yeah.
So you had that sort of settled,
stable. Yeah, I had it and lost it all through me lying because of drinking drugs.
That's crazy. I think it just goes to show like how powerful addiction can be.
Exactly, yeah.
Like
very powerful.
You had everything you probably wanted, and it's took it all.
Took it all off us, yeah, it has.
So you're saying before that you knew what crack cocaine was, but you stayed away from it.
Yeah.
What made you change?
Just boredom, monotony. Just an escapism for us it is.
What sort of what's an everyday day for you? Like what's a normal day?
Go to shoplift, earn money and buy drugs.
And that's just on a repeat every day?
On a repeat, yeah, constantly.
Do you find it easy to shoplift? Or?
Yeah, easy. Yeah, I'd rather shoplift than go out and like burgle and things like that.
No, completely, yeah. And you never worry about getting caught?
Never worry about getting caught, no.
I guess to you, like, you said you'd been in and out of prison a lot. Is prison a deterrent, or does it not really bother you?
No, it's not a deterrent. Prison, it's easy. Easy as anything.
I guess you're used to it,
Used to it, yeah.
Have you got any advice for people watching
If I could give people advice, don't go down the path I have of drinking drugs, because it doesn't help you. It doesn't work for you. There's more outlets for things in your life than committing crime and drinking and drugs.
Do you ever see yourself getting clean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as soon as I leave here, I'm going to get clean.
Are you going to move away from
Leeds, yeah.
Do you think that helps in a way, like moving away from all the people that are around
you? Yeah, definitely, yeah. Peer pressure. Peer pressure, a lot of peer pressure.
So I guess it'd be difficult if everyone around you was taking drugs. And
and you weren't, yeah.
So would you say you're sort of ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on now, yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Being settled, having my life back, doing normal things. Definitely.
Have you got a relationship with your kids still?
No, the talk was on Facebook, but that's it.
But I guess at least you've got that.
Yeah,
so you could build on that, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Have you got anything else to do? Stephen's story, we're now going to talk a little bit about it. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have enjoyed. Thank you. So Stephen, he grew up with an abusive father. He was not only abusive towards his mother, he was abusive towards the children as well. He was an alcoholic. His father used to make him and his brother fight. Like, he witnessed his mum get beat up. The amount of damage that must do seeing that as a kid.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
It must be tough.
And then you almost, I can't think of the right word, my brain's not working. It's almost a given that the rest of his life moving forward from that is not going to be straightforward.
Well, some people change around.
But not without, like, he's not received any help for that, what he witnessed as a kid.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's got PTSD from it.
Yeah. He's
He's
traumatized.
Yeah, he's traumatized from it.
Yeah.
He's still stuck in that body of like that mind of a little boy almost, that had to see all that growing up. And from the very person that's meant to keep your whole family safe, to be terrorising your whole family.
Yeah.
Like your dad's meant to be the one that keeps everyone safe.
That's true.
So due to this, he lives sort of a transient lifestyle. He can't settle in one place for long. I just imagine that he never really feels comfortable anywhere. Safe, unsecure.
I think he just like to move around.
I don't know, I get the feeling it's not really a choice.
No.
I don't know. So he himself is divorced through drink and drugs. And he thinks, this is a tricky one for me, he thinks it's because he saw his dad. But then I know we've talked about it before, like it can go one of two ways, as in children of alcoholics tend to be more likely to struggle with addiction problems themselves, or be the complete opposite and never.
It makes more sense to be not to touch it because you witnessed it.
Yeah, but then it makes more sense to mirror what you see growing up. Like it's very difficult to break that cycle.
Yeah, but personally, for me, it makes sense not to touch it because if my dad was drinking and I see the effect that the drink causes him, make his behaviour change around if he's drinking. If my dad's behaviour change when he's drinking and he start abusing us, I wouldn't want to touch a drink.
I know, but that's you looking at it as a logical adult. That's not how Stephen saw it. He was a kid. He was scared, confused. Like that was all he knew.
Yeah.
So he himself was an alcoholic by the age of 15 and introduced to drugs by his older brother at 14. That's tough.
For being alcoholic
And
at
14 to be introduced to drugs. Which I don't think, maybe nowadays, like, wouldn't shock a lot of people, like, as in he didn't start on hard drugs. I mean, I personally don't know a lot about speed. But he started on speed and marijuana. Like, I think it would be naive of me to say now that the majority of 14-year-olds have probably been offered or tried or are aware of what it is.
Yeah.
I think I'd be naive to think that's not true.
It is true.
But then, this was quite, like, he's 53 now, so this was a while ago, in the days where it probably wasn't as.
It's not right, yeah.
No. Like, it's just young, isn't it? And to be a full-blown alcoholic at 15.
So, what happened in school? Like,
Well, he ended up getting kicked out, didn't he?
So where was the you need to ask your question. Where was the social services?
He got kicked out because he wasn't turning up.
How can you turn up if you're drunk?
Well, exactly. But does that not raise alarm bells to the school that he's not turning up? And hang on a minute, maybe we should look at his home life and see what's going on.
But then this is like probably 3-4 decades before, so a lot of things has changed.
And hopefully, like, it hopefully wouldn't go as unnoticed today in this day and age. So he says he's always been in trouble with the police, and then he says that trouble seems to have followed him all his life. The problem with that statement is I'm not saying trouble hasn't followed him all his life, but he doesn't seem to accept his responsibility in that.
What do you mean?
As in I'm not saying he's responsible for all the trouble that's followed him, but he has put himself in some of those situations. Like, he's not claiming any response, he's saying trouble's followed him, but he's probably caused some of that trouble.
But the main trouble is like, if he's on heroin, it's not about him looking for trouble. He need to
No, but his statement was
Yeah.
troubles followed him all his life. And I feel like in order to move on from that, and I'm not saying maybe he's not quite in the place where he wants to move on from that, I feel like you need to claim some responsibility for that trouble. It's not followed him all his life. He has caused some of that trouble. Whether consciously or unconsciously.
I wouldn't say he caused it.
I would.
I don't think he would go out there and cause
Think of
trouble.
someone that maybe gets in fights a lot.
Yeah.
They might say, oh, like I get picked on all the time, like trouble's always following me. But in reality, they're going out getting drunk and mouthing off. Someone is going to fight them. Maybe they're not physically starting the fight themselves, but they're putting themselves in that situation where, like, that's just an example.
So he's putting, because he's an addict, he put himself in that situation.
No.
So that's what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Actually, yeah, we'll go with that. Because as an addict, and addiction is an illness, but as an addict...
I still think that's an illness. For me,
it is. Yeah. Addiction is an illness. But as an addict, you are going to put yourself in those situations or around those people that is probably going to cause more trouble.
No, it's like if they put you in a hostel, you ain't got no choice. If there's trouble there, you ain't got no choice, have you?
No, but through being an addict, you've put yourself in the position of being in that hostel.
Well, if it's an illness, let's just say people that got cancer, is that their fault?
Sometimes.
You can't say that.
Yeah, I can.
You can't say that. It's not their fault.
Sometimes it is.
It's not their fault. It's a disease. It happened, but you can't say that.
You can say that some people have contributed to stuff towards that happening.
No.
Heavy smokers, drinkers, obese people. Yeah, it is. Partly they've had a role to play in that. They could have prevented it.
I totally disagree with you. You don't know what someone's going through.
No, you don't. You still need, no matter if you're an addict or not, you need at some point to claim responsibility for the things you have done.
Yeah, but if
you want to move on and get better.
No, but if you don't have no choice, you do what you have to do. I don't think
it doesn't seem like he's claiming any responsibility for the trouble that followed him all his life. And I think, I'm not saying all the trouble or anything like that, I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying he deserved it, and he's obviously had a really difficult childhood. But I'm saying, moving on, if you want to heal, if you want to get better, at some point you have to claim some responsibility for the things you've done.
I don't think it's his fault.
You can't always be in denial.
It's not him being in denial. He's been a victim since he was a kid.
I know that.
So he doesn't know nothing, but he doesn't know better. So how can you expect him to take responsibility of something that he doesn't know he's doing wrong?
But that's what I'm saying. When it gets to the point where you want to move on, where you want to heal, let's just move on from this. We're not getting anywhere. So he still has a relationship with his mum, which is good. He chats to her regularly. He has been homeless now for 2 years, and he shoplifts to support that habit. For him, he doesn't worry about getting caught because prison's easy. I think the way that we would need to, like we as a society maybe need to approach that is not stop using prison as punishment, because there is some people that probably do deserve to be in prison for the rest of their life. But you need to help people before they get in that situation of going to prison. Because he's not shoplifting for the fun of it.
So
he's doing it to get by.
So, and you want him to take responsibility over it?
Not for that. Oh, I've
no,
always moved on.
It's just a question. It's just a question. Because if you...
I want him to take some responsibility for the trouble that he claims has followed him all his life, yeah.
Like what, shoplifting? That's the only trouble for him, and drinking.
That's all he's talked about. We don't know what trouble he's been in.
But we can't talk about things that we don't know. We're sticking with things that we do know. You can't just presume that, oh, he's doing this and that.
Kill you.
No, we have to stick with things that he talked about.
We've got 14 minutes and you still want to go back to this point of... So I think we need to help people before they get to that point of going to prison. Because it's clear for people like Stephen that prison isn't a punishment, it's not a deterrent. They don't get up in the morning and think, do you know what, I better not shoplift today because I don't want to end up in prison. That's not how it works. The addiction is too strong. And to him, especially he's homeless. Prison's a roof over his head. It's 3 meals. It's not that difficult. It's not a deterrent. But then I don't know what you could. That's why I don't think for people like addicts and that persistently get caught shoplifting or prostituting or stuff like that. Prison shouldn't be the answer. You should be dealing with the root cause, because you can put them in and out of prison all their life. It's not going to solve the problem or help the problem.
Yeah.
So he said himself that he's too embarrassed to ask for help. He'd rather deal with everything on his own. And I think that's clear that he's obviously 53 years old. It's clear that dealing with it on his own isn't.
It's not working.
It's not working. It's not working for
But then again, if the person is not ready, there's nothing.
There's nothing you can do. That person has to be ready to ask, or not even ask, not even just ask for it, but ask and accept that help. Because it's one thing asking for it; it's a whole other thing being prepared to actually do the work. Because it's not as simple as him asking for help, and you can't throw money at the problem. You need to psychologically get to the root cause of it. So Stephen didn't start taking crack until he was 50.
Wow.
I know. And he knew about it as well.
Cool.
And he stayed away from it for the reasons that he knew. Like hard drugs, because he was...
hard drugs. And then you get to 50. You start taking him.
And he did it just to escape boredom.
Yeah.
And I can imagine the life of an addict is boring in the nicest way possible, and I'm sure many of them would agree. Like when we asked him what his typical day was, and it's get up, shoplift, score, and it's just like on repeat.
Yeah.
Like there's no hobbies or no like time with friends and stuff, but then do we prioritise stuff like that? Because to us that's a way of winding down, like after a long week at work. I don't know, like that's our way of escaping, but I don't know. Like everyone's different. But I can see how it would be boring. And the want to escape from that.
Yeah.
Or just to feel like you've escaped from it, because I guess you're not actually escaping it, are you? But to feel like you're escaping it. And then lastly, it's a bit of a like sad note to finish on, but it just, like, it breaks my heart when he says that he's lost everything through drink and drugs.
I believe that.
And I hope people watching this, like, I hope if anyone watches this and they're ever offered drugs or tempted to, like, I hope they can remember him saying that. And like, even if it just sticks with one person.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next week. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have enjoyed it. Thank you.